Welcome, everyone, to the Week 15 series of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you have not had the chance, go check out our website at justsayingfootball.com and follow us on Instagram at justsayingwjs for article and video updates. Sunday football continues in the afternoon with some 4 p.m. matchups. Jack, we got the New York Jets heading out to LA to take on the Rams. What you got for us in this one?
Geez, I got a big order of Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods for 100-yard games, please. I'll tell you that. I think that Jared Goff has a great matchup here as a quarterback. This is a good opportunity for the Rams to play a team that doesn't score a lot. This is a favorable matchup against the Jets, who have yet to win a game. It would be fun to see a crazy upset, but the Rams right now, the way that they're playing, they're going into the playoff picture. They want a game here where they can maybe try some creative things and try to just maybe run Cam Akers, give him the volume they've been giving him the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. I think you can have 3 guys with over 100 yards here. That's Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and Cam Akers. They can really do it all. We've just seen Akers the last 3 games doing really well. 9 for 84 and a touchdown against San Francisco, 21 for 72 and 1 at Arizona. And then he had 29 carries for 173 yards against the Patriots. They really like their young guy. We talked about him a little bit in some of our articles. He's having a great season, showing why he could have been drafted higher potentially. The Jets are they're not a good football team right now. I don't expect them to put up that much of a fight, though I hope it is. The Rams. It's just like Aaron Donald's going to have a couple sacks. That offense is going to be just really high powered.
Yeah, it's really Sam Darnold for me. I think that it's time for him to make a change. Really,
He needs a new scenery.
Chicago,
Chicago?
maybe Chicago, Pittsburgh. I see him going somewhere where he needs to maybe take what Jameis Winston's doing this year and get the bad mechanics out, learn from a good quarterback, and maybe come back another year as a starter. He's still young, has the opportunity to do that. But in this Rams matchup, they're traveling there. We saw him try to get people involved last week, but even his guy Jamison Crowder last week, they were not on the same page. And it's a tough thing for the Jets. They got Jalen Ramsey in that defense. I'm going to take the Rams in this one at home as well. I see Cam Akers having a very big game, but we can move on to the next one there. Arizona.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about.
Arizona at home. Jalen Hurts, second start ever. Last week we saw him take out the Saints. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, that last week's game was a big surprise. He played really well. He looked calm. The Saints rallied back a little bit towards the end, but they did just enough to get the win. The thing that I'm worried about right now is that Eagles injury report is out. They're going to have no Darius Slay and no Devontae Maddox. Those are 2 key players in their secondary. And this Cardinals team has 2 very good wide receivers.
Yeah.
One is arguably the best in the entire league in DeAndre Hopkins, and the other is Christian Kirk. I don't see the Eagles being able to keep up with what this high-powered Cardinals team can do. I just think that Kyler Murray can run a lot on them, and that Kenyon Drake can run efficiently on them. And then I think when you just have DeAndre Hopkins not having to go up against Darius Slay, that just makes it so much easier to give him
Juicy
the deep
matchup.
ball.
Yeah, juicy matchup for DeAndre Hopkins. And Christian Kirk, you mentioned, he's struggled the last couple of weeks. We haven't really seen Kyler Murray. Last week was the first time in a couple of weeks that Kyler Murray actually looked pretty solid. He looked health-wise. But in the last four weeks, we haven't seen Christian Kirk get more than 4 targets or 4 receptions. And I would love to see him get more involved in this favorable matchup, especially if this Cardinals team goes to 8-6. If they can win this game at home, they'll be in the playoff picture still with, Seattle there. They're in a division where they have 3 teams competing right now for playoff spots. And I would love to see them start using all of their weapons and understanding in the playoffs you have to win that way. So I'm looking for a big game for DeAndre Hopkins, like you said, Christian Kirk. I think they get the win. I just don't like the Eagles' offense and how it's going to flow after a week of film.
I think that I think the Eagles offense can definitely put up points, way much more so than they did under Wentz's quarterback. I just don't think that if if Arizona goes up 2 scores, 3 scores, it's going to be that much harder for the Eagles to try to chip back away at that lead. It's gonna be a tough one for them for sure. And I think that this is, if you're Kyler Murray this late in the game after that AC shoulder injury a couple of weeks ago, you're right now at that 7th seed. You want to make it in the playoffs. You're one of the best teams like 5 weeks ago. Win this game, stay in that playoff hunt, because if you lose, potentially the Vikings or Bears can slip in there, and that's not what you want in week 15.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to take the Cardinals at home. I think it's just a favorable matchup. Jalen Hurts surprised everybody last week. Miles Sanders got an 80-yard touchdown. I don't really think that will be the case this week. I think that the Cardinals, I think they have a good secondary. And I think, like I mentioned, the Eagles receiving core really bothers me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Cardinals at home. I think that Kenyon Drake will be relied on heavily as well. They're going to have to control the clock in this one.
Yeah, I like it. Moving on, we got a potential Super Bowl matchup in the afternoon with the Kansas City Chiefs heading out to the New Orleans Saints Metrodome. Or Mercedes-Benz Dome. We got a little bit of news here. The two pieces of news. One came out earlier this week. Drew Brees will be back in the lineup. He will be getting the start. That's huge. A little bit of news that just came out about 40 minutes ago. We were talking about in our last episode. Michael Thomas was moved to the IR. He is out for the rest of the regular season. They do expect him to be 100% come playoff time.
Yeah.
But he is out in this huge, huge matchup against the Chiefs. What do you got for us?
Chiefs are 7-0 right now on the road. They're the only team left in that category undefeated. They can go just about anywhere and win. But it's looking like the way it's going to be. If they win this game, it's looking like the playoffs are going to have to go through them. So they're going to go there. They're going to take New Orleans on, and I think it's going to be a battle. I think Drew Brees without Michael Thomas is definitely a hit. But we've seen Alvin Kamara really lack production compared to what he had with Drew Brees the last couple of weeks.
That's going right back
and
up.
I think that's going right up, exactly. I think that without Michael Thomas, automatically those targets go right to Kamara. They're going to have to dump it off. This Chiefs defense is 8th in scoring. New Orleans understands that they are not going to let them finish drives, and their offense on Kansas City's offense is absolutely going to finish drives with Hill, Kelsey. But I'm liking New Orleans' defense against this Kansas City offense. I think if one defense is going to really give them trouble this year, we saw Miami give them trouble last week, it's going to be New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to that Miami game, and Mahomes threw 3 interceptions, the first time in his career. And I just feel like we haven't seen what he does after a game like that.
Yeah, like we talk about with Rodgers, Brady.
And that to me is what's really terrifying, because it seems like the best quarterbacks, like you mentioned, Rodgers, Brady, when they have a 3-turnover game, they always come back and just dominate the next game. And we don't know what this will be like with Mahomes. I'm not saying he's going to dominate, because it is a good Saints team. Oh, I am so sorry. My dogs are barking. Someone must have walked in front of our house, but I am very sorry for that, everyone. But like I was saying, we don't know what Mahomes is going to look like coming back from an injury like this.
We don't. And it's interesting. Like we want to see him bounce back. Obviously, we want to see this be a real shootout. I think that Jared Cook this week is a really good play. Like a lot of people have been asking just about, what's somebody in fantasy with this tight end situation, especially people who had like Gesicki. And I just want to say, the last couple of weeks, Cook may have 3 catches in each of those games, but he has a touchdown in each of those games too. I think that what's really important here is that Drew Brees is going to utilize all his weapons, just like Mahomes. But I gotta take Kansas City in this one. It's so hard to bet against them. 12-1, top of the AFC, and no Michael Thomas definitely affects the offensive potential of the Saints.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I definitely think that the Chiefs are going to get the win here. I know Brees is coming back from injury, and you expect him to play really well, but he had 11 broken ribs. We only have 24 ribs, okay? So he's coming back off of a pretty big injury, and you got Chris Jones if you're the Chiefs to maybe go after and make him a bit uncomfortable. I do expect Cook and Kamara to have a good game. I think this is going to be a fight, but I do think that the Chiefs are going to slowly pull away when Tyrek Hill is like, let me just sprint right behind this entire defense. Oh, there's the ball, and there's a 50-yard bomb touchdown. Thank you, because that's what this Chiefs team can do. We saw it last week against the Dolphins. Literally, he was just like, oh, you just passed him. Also, Hill can run the ball. I don't know if you saw the audible that Mahomes made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he calls the audible and he goes, "You're going to block 45. You're going to block 45." Then he goes, hike, just give him a little jet sweep, and it was a 22-yard touchdown. I just think that this offense can do a lot. I think Mahomes is like, God, I played poorly for my team. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry, Saints, but you're now going to have to deal with my anger as Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and at least it's a good defensive matchup. If he's going to do it, it's going to be even more impressive in New Orleans. No fans there, but, different story if that stadium's packed.
Mm-hmm.
But, one stadium, another, it's tough right now. I've been there plenty of times where whether it's packed or not, it's always tough to play in prime time, and that's the Giants. And they got to play the Browns, who we mentioned on the last show, the fact that the Ravens played them last week, and I'm really interested in your opinion on this game because the Giants defense plays well, but that Browns team is good.
That Browns team looks to be a legit. And I asked the question a few weeks ago, if they beat the Titans, are they a legit team? And they went in there and they just destroyed the Titans out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They put up a hell of a fight last week against the Ravens. It was just Lamar Jackson there at the end was just too good for them and just got the edge. But what I'm worried about with this Giants team is their defense right now. And it's weird to say because their defense has been the bright spot of the entire season. But James Bradberry will not be in on the matchup on Sunday. And that is a huge, huge loss for a really, really solid Giants team that had taken huge steps from last season. And that's what is making me worried. I think that Jarvis Landry could then have a really good game because of that. And it's just going to make the Giants kind of have to scheme a little bit more with all of these weapons that the Browns have. They still have Hooper, they have Njoku, they have Chubb, they have Hunt. These guys are just phenomenal.
Yeah, oh my God. And Hunt last week, Chubb last week, it was kind of like you take the first half, I take the second half, and they both got 100 yards. They both had scores. I love what the Browns have been doing creatively. When you have a receiver like Odell Beckham go out, you expect to struggle, but they've actually benefited from being a little more creative. We've seen Donovan Peoples-Jones go off for big touchdowns. Jarvis has been getting the bulk of the targets. But I gotta bet against my Giants in this one. It's really tough. I think Myles Garrett's going to give Andrew Thomas a really tough time. We talk about Myles Garrett a lot on this show, but Andrew Thomas, after 5 games of no pressures, this Giants offensive line allowed 5 sacks to Hassan Reddick last week, and I think it's just time for them to understand that it's really they had their shot and they were above, but they lost a critical game last week, so it's tough.
Yeah, they really did. I got to go with the Browns here. I don't want to. Giants may also be without Daniel Jones this week. One could argue it's actually beneficial for them because Colt McCoy did so well against Seahawks. One could also make the argument that because Colt McCoy then won't have that athleticism, if Myles Garrett's bearing down at him, he won't be able to necessarily escape the pocket.
Yeah.
I think that this Browns defense has shown that they can do enough to get after quarterbacks, make a couple plays in the back end, and that can be the difference maker for them big time. And again, I trust what Chubb and Hunt can do. I think if you're able to give them both around like 35 carries total and they're able to get over 50 yards, it's just going to be a long day for the Giants. But hopefully Leonard Williams, who's having a really, really great season under the franchise tag, is able to at least kind of disrupt the quarterback, maybe make Baker Mayfield make a mistake or two, and your defense is able to get an interception to hopefully put up some points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hope the Giants defense plays well. I'm loving what they've been doing with Jabril. James Bradberry, he's on the COVID list. That's a big hit. I don't think that it's going to benefit them having to lean on guys like, Idom and Julian Love and Sam Beal. I think that the Browns are going to have a big offensive night and keep showing it, and they're going to go and try to get their first double-digit season in almost 15 years. So excited for them.
There's a lot riding. I just want to highlight one more thing. Kevin Stefanski being the head coach, he was the Vikings offensive coordinator last year, and the Vikings actually did play the Giants in New York last year, and they did a lot when it came to running the ball with Dalvin Cook, giving off the ball to him in the pass, as well as finding their playmakers, Adam Thielen, and at the time, the man, the myth, the legend, Stephon Diggs. So I can see a similar game plan probably going to happen, which is, again, We're gonna run the ball with Chubb and Hunt, and we're gonna find those
Yeah.
little drop off past them. But the Giants, even if they take this loss, if Washington also takes an L, you guys are still in it for some playoff hope. I'm not gonna count you guys out just yet in the NFC East. I think that any team there, sadly, can still win that, which is upsetting to say this late in the game.
Yeah, if Seattle does lose to Washington and we win, we will have that tiebreaker once again. But we play the Ravens next week and then the Cowboys. So a big win of confidence this week. But I'll tell you, it's a tough road for the Giants if they want to make the playoffs. And when they get there, it's even tougher. But I have full confidence. But with Colt McCoy, we looked okay against the Seahawks. And just hoping we can get the win. But I'm taking the Brownies in this one.
And I'll go with the Browns too. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That's all the time that we have. We hope you enjoy the Sunday games, and should be a good Sunday night football matchup. It's too bad OBJ is not in. We could have seen a nice little revenge game, but
yeah, we love a good revenge game. Always check us out. All of our revenge game analysis and all game analysis on justsayingfootball.com. Check us out YouTube, Just Saying Football, and Just Saying no
you got this.
WJS
There
on
it is.
Instagram for all your article and video updates. Thank you, Shanti, for holding with me right there, and thank you all for watching.
I got you. Love you, buddy. Enjoy.